Slapshot Utah! Hey, Tusks up, clubbers! Welcome back to Slapshot Utah. It is playoff madness, Stanley Cup mania here in the great state of Utah. My co-host, man, John, what is up and how are you feeling so far?
I'm feeling great, Leroy. You know, that first I got to first say the first game, everyone who came out to our Slapshot watch party, wasn't that just so much fun? So much fun. You guys are actually amazing superheroes. So thank you so much. But obviously, we're on cloud 9. We're in the playoffs. We're on a 2-1 lead right now against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I couldn't have told you that this is where we would have been 6 months ago when we started our crappy little podcast, Leroy. And now look at us. We're talking about the playoffs with the home ice advantage going into game 4. I don't know if I could be even more excited than I am right now, brother.
Logan Cooley, our dude, has showed up in these playoffs so far. I don't even know where to start. Forward, backwards, up to Mackenzie Weegar. Who are we talking about here? Dylan Gunther. I mean, there's so many highlights over the last few games, but I really think what caught me is after that first game, dropped. We're down 0-1 in the series. It felt like the Utah Mammoth found some other gear somewhere in the second period of that game where it felt like we were playing at about 105%, 100% afterburners, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, are they going to be able to keep this up? Like the pace was just incredible. And I guess it kind of fleshed itself out to where there's teams that are going to be bigger and more experienced than us. But damn, John, we're fast, aren't we?
Dude, we're fast. And let's just touch on it. Let's just talk about it. Slapshot Utah watch party at Big Willie's last Sunday. Amazing turnout. Congrats to all the winners that won some stuff, but I think we all won, even though the game was lost. Because to be honest, this is how I felt. I mean, this is a very young team. A lot of them first time in the playoffs ever. And I think that first game, because I think they had like 50 hits on our I was just about to search it anyway, but they had so many more hits. And I think our young guys were like, oh shit, like this is how we're going to play. And I mean, there were out of those 2 periods, we were up 2-1 for a while until until the third period where
Yeah.
like we were on our toes playing kind of like, oh, this is just a regular season game. And then that third period, those Knights came out and they were slamming our boys against the walls and stuff. And I think that was the wake up call that brought them into game 2, where they were like, like, all right, I guess this is how we play. I guess this is how we play.
Well, we've been saying ever since last summer, like it's it's no secret that the model for the Stanley Cup is hit hard, got guys up the middle that are big, you know what I mean, and have that experience and the grit. And so we were concerned. We've been concerned for months now, even if we do make it into the playoffs. How is it going to pan out? Because we just don't have that physicality. And we were all kind of quaking, with McBain, going in possibly impaired, and of course Barrett Hayton, like those are two physical players for us. But I feel like the Mammoth really responded to that call because you can't hit what you can't catch, John. And I'm so after that second game, bringing that back to Utah with the series split, I was so damn proud. I was so damn proud that this is going to be a series. And you're right, that first game, even though we lost, man, it was so fine to be a Utah Mammoth fan, especially meeting up with all of you guys at another watch party. Holy crap, I didn't think you guys could show up like that on a Sunday night. Elbow to elbow, the patio, the pool room, everything was full. Great
Yeah.
times, but we got our work cut out for us because we got a big game 4 coming up on Monday night at the Delta Center. This game is going to go back to Vegas one way or another. Um, What do you think, man? I feel pretty good about our chances. Look, before any of that, because the big thing is that we had the biggest playoff game for the Mammoth, right? The only playoff game is what we saw, but it feels in some ways like one of the biggest playoff games in Utah history. Like in some
Dude.
ways, I mean, I know we didn't win a
I mean
championship, but
that's I wouldn't say in history because we've had the NBA finals here. But like
right,
but I will tell you, leaving that game 3 and so grateful I was there. Shout out to everyone we saw there, by the way. Dude,
yeah,
all the friends were there. It was so fun. It felt and I think I told you on the phone yesterday, it felt like I went to a double header Pantera concert when I got home. That was the I've been to tons of Jazz playoff games. I've been to playoff games. I've been to NFL games. Dude, that was the loudest place I've ever been. Like that first goal when Mackenzie Weegar got the lucky off the helmet, like sliding in goal. Dude, it was like a nuclear explosion. I couldn't even hear the goal horn, which is loud as hell forever. Oh, we made it 5 minutes. Let's go. But it
hey,
was loud
how?
as hell.
Yeah, yeah. I had friends texting me a couple minutes into it, like, "It sounds really loud on the TV broadcast,
Yeah,
like, really loud." I went back and watched it after, and it did. Like, it
yeah,
was like, you could hear it. I mean, and that "Let's go Utah." Man,
yeah.
proud of this crowd, but,
So
John
proud. Everybody
John,
showed up.
I know that there's a little bit of playoff tension. Right,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about this, but it's a little bit of playoff tension, especially, and so that being said, did you kinda was it a feeling of, like, a little bit of a different crowd? I know it was the playoffs, and it's not the usual
Oh,
season
yeah.
ticket people, maybe not the usuals because ticket were expensive, but I walked into the Delta Center on Friday night, and I'm like, there's a different vibe about this crowd, different cast of characters, I'm not sure what it was.
I 100% agree. You walked in and you felt like you were, like, in battle. Like, it felt like all of us were going to play the game.
Yeah.
And, like and I love that. I love that everyone was so invested and so ready. But it also felt to me like people were a little too cocky. Because I have a thing that I put on my Instagram story the other day that I just gotta say, I gotta put this out. Leroy, you and me talked about it. You don't believe in superstitions when it comes to sports. I 100% do. If I'm sitting in a part of a couch and we're up 2-0 and I move to the other part of the couch and they score, I move right back to the other part of the couch. It's only crazy if it doesn't work, Leroy. But dude, when I hear those Las what were they saying? Fuck Las Vegas. They had that one and
Vegas,
Las
yeah, Vegas. I never heard "fuck Las Vegas," but I heard
Vegas
Vegas
sucks.
sucks.
Vegas sucks.
I heard
And
a lot of that.
I for one, I'm not a big fan of like that because I wanna I don't wanna tell them they suck. I want my team to beat them so fucking bad that they go home and they look in the mirror and they go, "Damn, we suck." I don't like the fans being a part of that. And did you guys notice? You guys started chanting that Vegas sucks, and they scored within 30 seconds of that chant starting, right? And then so we were up 4-0. I get it. We're happy. And then it's 4-1. Okay, now it's 4-2. Now it's 4-1. They start chanting it again. They score again during the Vegas sucks chants. So then people stop. People stop. It's 4-2. We're up 4-2. There's 9 minutes left, and they started again. And Leroy, my anxiousness went through the roof because I'm like, people, people, we are very proud of this young team. We are very proud of Coach Bear. The Las Vegas Knights are no pushover team. There's a lot of experience both on and I know I made fun of Coach Tortellini, but like, dude, he's a dignified, very well-known coach. He's great. And I think they got something like 8 or 9 Stanley Cup winners on that fucking team. So it's like, people, we can chant Vegas sucks for the banter, but the team doesn't suck. The fact that we're up 2-1 right now is no one would have predicted this. This is a very like we should be very happy. Our emotions should be through the roof. But I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna chant that shit because I believe in superstitions.
Yeah, well, there's some things I will chant and I will cheer for, and other things that, I think Vegas sucks is one of the more harmless things that could be
Yeah.
chanted. I mean, we had a conversation off air about my psychological take on Utah sports fans and why shouting something like that would be so important for us. Should we save that for later, or should I just hit it right now?
Save it for when we got our
Save it.
buddy coming on.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we
yeah.
are having a guest on today,
Yep,
all right?
we are.
Because and one of the reasons is because, look, I was talking some mad shit, John, for
Yeah,
phony
me too.
sports town, phony sports fans. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a Vegas Golden Knights representative on today, right? And he's going to speak with us maybe about what is it, a rivalry? Are they, if we beat the Knights, are they going to call it a rivalry? Is it a rivalry now? It's the rivalry of I-15.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, but you hit it on the dude. I'm just gonna put this out there because this is just how I think. I think it's a healthy thing. I mean, most people that follow along with our podcast know that this is like for the fans like that are beginning to get into hockey or sometimes even sports. Like I have friends that are like, dude, I've never even cared about a sport, but now like the hockey's here. I care. Dude, we can talk and we can banter, but at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of Americans enjoying some sport, trying to get our heads off the stresses of the world. And so I think it's healthy to hear both sides. And that's why we will be having our friend Matt come on in a little bit. So we'll be right back and we'll be with Matt. But Tusk's up, Utah. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. We're here with our friend Matt, the Vegas fan that we love, even though we hate him for the next couple weeks. Welcome to the show, Matt. How you feeling today, dude?
I'm feeling good, man. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a fun series so far, so I'm ready to rock and roll and finish the series out and see how it goes, man.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Matt, it's been a hot series so far. I don't know if you're disappointed by the momentum swing here, if what's going on. I have a few theories. I'm going to give you your first shot. What is going on with your Vegas Golden Knights, or what is going right with our Utah Mammoth?
I think there's a couple sides to that, right? So Utah's playing great. Gunther he showed up, right? Like there's no denying that they were going to be hot coming into this series, right? They're pumped. It's the first playoff series for them. So coming into it, we knew that Utah was going to be tough. And anybody that wrote off Utah and said, "Oh, this is a sweep for Vegas," I saw those tweets and I was like, "You guys don't know what you're talking about." I'm sorry.
You
Um,
know, well, did you know, do you think there's a huge, like, is it because we're faster and younger? Cause I'm not claiming that. I've just heard that there's like the big momentum shift when you look at like the Flyers, the Canadians. Is it the Vegas window? Is the way Vegas
I,
window closing? Are you guys getting too old, Matt?
I so yes and no. I think their current roster is aging itself out. And Utah is fast. They're a fast team. There's no denying that. And I think that's not their style. They used to be a fast team when they first came into the league. They're one of the fastest teams. They've gone away from that. They've focused more on defense. They're more of a defense first team, but they're still trying to inject some of that speed into their game. Tortorella talked about playing fast, not necessarily skating fast, but playing fast, getting the puck north as quickly as possible. So I think Utah has done a good job in stifling that. I think their speed has countered whatever speed Vegas has tried to bring to the game. And then Vijmelka has been good, right? Veggie's been playing his ass off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we were just while you were in the lobby, we were just talking about that. Like, as soon as Veggie has a crap game, we're gonna lose, man. You already realize that there's nobody's coming to save us. Um, All right. So look, do you want to play Brando's call? You want to play Hawk's call before we get into what could be the hot, spicy part of this segment?
I
Sure.
mean, we might as
Let's hear
well.
it.
Let's do
Okay.
it. Let's do it. Okay, where is it? Sorry, we're still getting used to this stuff too,
Yeah.
people.
Oh, you're good, man.
All right,
Yeah,
here we
this
go.
is okay.
Hey, yo, whatever Vegas motherfucking Knights fan is on the Slapshot Utah pod, respects, because I know John and Leroy wouldn't do anything without respects, but fuck you and your soft ass fucking come from nowhere fan base that think they're an original six. So this is Utah Hawk, obviously, by the way, and I just want to say, Tusk the Knights ass, series far from over, but fuck the Knights. Screw Corey Hart. We won't even go there. We'll let you go there. And Torch was good for a few wins on sloppy teams. So fuck the Knights. We are all not all inclusive here. We love everybody to come in, talk the shit. But fuck the Knights, and I love Slapshot Utah. And we definitely ain't afraid to bring some visiting fans in, especially when you only have a few real ones. Vegas born my fucking ass, motherfuckers. You just love to go to Vegas and waste money, bitches. Toss some motherfuckers, plus the Knights ass. Utah in 7. Let's go, Mammoth.
to
It was a spicy.
Wow.
It was a spicy I thought
Brandon's
it was gonna be.
to Brandon's defense, that was sent at 1 in the morning last night. So, but chirp on back, Matt. Let the fans know how you feel.
I got one thing. That's all I'll say, right? Take a look at this shirt. Stanley Cup champions, baby. So
It's true.
I don't want to be the one that says, hey,
It's true.
Utah's new, like they're the babies of the NHL. But you know what? We got a cup. And
Yep.
we know what it takes to get there, so we can help Utah fans once they get to that point. And I think, a lot of people jump ship that you had that jersey sweep or the switch that they had the other day. To me, that's what grows the game, man. And good on Hawk, man. He's talking his shit. And Vegas fans, we chirp back, right? We've had series with Edmonton, Colorado, Dallas. We talk our shit to a lot of teams. And we came back a few times against some teams. We've also been on the other side of that where what happened with San Jose. I'm sure you guys are aware what happened with that.
Yeah.
So we talked shit up until that game, and we're like, "Oh shit! Like maybe we should turn it around." Like that penalty changed a lot, man. So we've been on both sides, but you know what? Good on him. And you know what? Vegas is a tough team. They're veterans. They know what they're doing. I wouldn't say this series is over at all. 2-1 is not that hard to come back from. I'm not saying they're gonna reverse sweep and it's gonna be over and but it's gonna be a 7-game series probably. And I see Vegas realizing that, hey, we know what we got to do now, and it's gonna be a tough series, man. And if we come out on top, hey, you know what? Well, I'll talk my shit then, because then I'll be like, you know what? I told you so.
Yeah, exactly, Matt. And I got a question for that, because you guys were fortunate enough. You guys went to the Stanley Cup the first year, right? And so I see on social media and stuff that, like, oh my God, these Utah fans cheer for everything, even the defense, like clearing it out, and the fans, they just cheer for every little hit and everything. Do you think there's something to that, of like, for the team that's on the ice, of like, hey, we got a defensive clear out and our fans are going nuts because they're just barely learning the rules of hockey? Did you see that in like Vegas, of like maybe helping them propel them above and beyond their expectations their first year?
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of the thing with expansion, right? People, this is a city that never has had pro hockey. Vegas is kind of the same thing. California doesn't have that. They've had the Kings forever. The Sharks have been around a while. The Ducks have been around a while. Utah, they've had the Grizzlies. I understand the Grizzlies were there. But it's different, right? It's a different level of hockey. To get the people that have never been to a hockey game, to get them to go and start cheering. That's what it's all about, man. Like the Vegas fans, there was a lot of Vegas fans that had never been to a hockey game. They had the Las Vegas Wranglers before, So a lot of carryover from that into the NHL team, but there was a lot of fans that were brand new to the sport, and that's really what it is like, they're just excited, they're like they have something to cheer for, and, they have a new team, there's a lot of energy around it, and really, I think that's kind of where, Utah is right now. There's an energy around it, it's new, the team's good, right? They don't suck out the gate, which is good. You guys have had, a few down seasons, but that happens, right? You're still growing the team. There's a lot of picks and raw and a lot of drafts that you have to kind of build your team around. The Coyotes, we won't really talk too much about them, but I think Utah's doing it right, and I know Ryan Smith has been really great for the team, and I think with the new fans, they kind of understand that yeah, we're new, but we're gonna cheer this team regardless. It's there's a lot of stuff to learn about the sport of hockey. I've been playing since I was 4 years old, so I know the sport like the back of my hand. And to get to that point, it's gonna take a long time, and I think fans need to understand that. Fans of other teams need to understand that this is a new team. There's new city. Like there's going to be some of that, and I don't really disrespect fans like that because they're trying to learn the game. They're trying to grow this game. They're trying to interject themselves into the great sport of hockey. So I don't see that as like a negative. Yeah, you can chirp it and all that and say, yeah, you're new or you're a noob or whatever you want to say. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they're trying to help with the sport of hockey, and we need that right now.
The genesis of both of our franchises are so similar just in just veiled ways. And I'll make my point this way. One of the reasons that the Vegas Golden Knights caught on upon their inception, yeah, they were great, right out of the bat. And there's some controversy to that, but they were great right out of the bat. But you know what it was is that real Vegas people adopted the team because it felt like something that organically came out of Vegas rather than just a borrow off, kind of like what the Raiders are to an extent. And so,
Yeah,
this identity of like there's this subculture of service personnel and this whole type of economy that works in Vegas of investments, a whole different landscape of the type of people who make up that fan base. And they want to be represented in the sports world just like us kooky Utah Mormon political polygamy soaker, the whole,
yeah,
we feel like we've been underrepresented in the sports community too, and unfortunately it comes out in this real vicious way on social media because the other thing that's exerting pressure on us that is the BYU Utah rivalry has warped our brains to where like it's so intense all the time. When you finally get Utah and BYU brethren in the same household, suddenly they can turn that on anybody. It feels pretty good and unifying. So you'll have to forgive us. It's nothing personal, as vicious as it seems like we are. It's just our way of having fun. We do it every December for the Holy War, It's just our way of
Yeah.
being sports fans. But, there's not that much different between the nights because I think you said something a little earlier too, is that you guys got little brothered by the league. You were the noobs
yeah,
who didn't know hockey. You were born on third base, had your team given to you, and I've given your franchise my fair load of crap about that. My brother will tell you all about it too. And so, but that being said, look, you guys had to be noobs at once too, and now I think it's rolling downhill on us, and we're talking double the shit because I tell you, I think we're going to have some, if we get through this series with the Vegas Golden Knights. And like you said, this is a good Knights team. You rest on your laurels. They're going to come back real fast, and we're going to be in a 3-2 hole. That could really happen. So, but if we do get past the Knights, there's some real teams, that or some real fan bases that are going to sink their teeth into us too. So it's all good fun and games. But yeah, it's been fun interacting, making first contact, and what do they want to call it? The rivalry of I-15. What do you think
yeah.
about that name?
I like it. I mean, it's I grew up in California, like I said,
Where?
and Ontario.
Oh,
So just outside of
hey.
Anaheim.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay,
So
I used to
yeah.
live in Fontana for a couple of years after
Oh,
I moved
right
out
there.
of
Yeah.
I grew up in La Mirada.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know all about Freeway Series, right? So Anaheim
Yeah.
and
Oh,
LA,
yeah.
there's a lot of hatred, and I like the vitriol that it brings. It brings out the best in the players. It brings out the best in the teams. It brings out the best in the fans. So if this is what Utah and Vegas need to ignite a rivalry, I'm all for it, man. Hey, if you guys want to say it's an I-15 rivalry, and this is what drives this rivalry for years to come, I'm all about it, man. Talk
Hell
that shit.
yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, just like touching on what Leroy said, like the BYU Utah rivalry is so fucking toxic. Like, unless you've lived in it, you don't understand. Like, I saw a thing the other night or on Twitter, as we all saw,
Yeah.
some Vegas night that was like, oh, yeah, some Utah fan told me to suck my dick or whatever. And it's like, like people outside of the Holy War don't understand. Like, we tell that to our grandma, like during the BYU Utah football game. It's like, suck my dick, right? Like, it is so fucking toxic. But I want to ask you though, Matt, as like a
Yeah.
Vegas fan, what was it like to watch your team go from the inception to finally seeing them hoist Lord Stanley? What was the feeling? Did you go to the parade? How was the city? Let us know that so we can get excited to hopefully one day hoist the Lord.
I couldn't make the parade due to work. You know, I live now in Arizona for work, and yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to that. But it was amazing watching the team grow from inception to lifting a Stanley Cup. And now you go to a game, and we've been more recently, and you look up at the rafters and you see the Stanley Cup banner. You get kind of emotional about it, right? You've invested so much time as a fan. You watch all the games, and whether it's in person or on TV, you watch this team go through its ups and downs, and then to finally, like, you can exhale, right? You can be like, "Wow, we fucking did it, man!" Like, and seeing Bruce Cassidy, and credit to him. I know he's not with the team anymore, but there was a lot of turmoil in the team, leading up to that, and obviously the 5 minute major that happened, and there's a lot of heartbreak that's happened for Vegas in such a short amount of time. People discredit Vegas. Oh, you guys ever handed a team, but they've been through a lot too. Like the league changed a rule because of how bad that call was. So that tells you right there. So to see the team go through this progression and actually make it to the Stanley Cup. My advice to Utah fans is if you ever get there, drink it in, man. Like it's like unlike any other sport. It's the hardest championship to win. I don't care what anybody says, the Super Bowl and all those other ones. The Stanley Cup is the hardest. They go to war. These teams go to war. That's why players get injured. It's a battle of attrition. Sometimes players don't make it all the way through the playoffs, and it's really a last man standing is really what it is. So I think Utah fans, for when that time comes and you get close to hosting a championship game, you get close to like hoisting a Stanley Cup, enjoy it, man. It's the best fucking feeling as a fan. You can actually say like, we have a fucking Stanley Cup, man.
Fuck
There's
yeah, dude.
few sports markets in the country that have a bigger case of blue balls from a sports perspective than Salt Lake City and Utah. Like, those two series the Jazz played against the Bulls back in the 90s, like, I mean, we've had the cup dashed from our lips multiple times. Like, this is a market that's yearning for a championship. Any kind of champion will take it, and I think that's one of the reasons the market has wrapped their talons around this team and just love the shit out of them. So I think I'm gonna take you up on that, and every Utah Mammoth fan will. We're not gonna take it for granted, and I think both of our franchises need to remember something too. Because look, Matt, I mean, you probably already know this. We're not a nuts and bolts, statistical, nitty gritty kind of podcast. We're more of a market hype. We're more just a, team vibe, a Utah sports culture from an NHL, base kind of. But look, it's essentially about who we are, right? And that's what I think. Guys like Brandon, we're just so proud to be in the market, proud to have a sports team, and
Yeah.
we want to be champions, something terrible. Um, the Tucson Roadrunners. So
Mhm.
I know you go to a lot of Roadrunners games. Is that right? And tell us about that.
Yeah, so I live just outside of the Tucson city limits. So, we go to a lot of Roadrunner games. My daughters love them, so we were always going. The team right now is kind of in this weird. They're good to beat certain teams. They're not good enough to make the playoffs. They're not. They're in kind of a, and I get it, right? They're feeding a team that is in the playoffs right now. So really, to expect that from an AHL team, it's kind of unrealistic, right? So, but they are good. There's a lot of structure that's being built into the team. Goaltending, I think that's where they're going to shock a lot of people is their goaltending. Matt Villalta, I think he's an up and coming. Whenever Veggie decides to, whatever happens with him or Vanacek, Villalta is a good backup to that plan. They also just got, I think his last name is Rabel or something like that. He
How
hasn't
did
really
Julian
played too
say it?
much.
Rabble?
Horrible.
Herbal.
Yeah.
We've talked about all 5 pronunciations, anything from Rabel to Harable to Horrible, but we know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how that turns out next season, because I feel like he's going to play a lot. They seem to have. He seems like a pretty big name. I saw a lot on Twitter about him. So I'm kind of curious to see. I watched Aiden Hill from when he was a Tucson Roadrunner up until winning a Stanley Cup. So
That's awesome.
it's impressive how Tucson has created a culture of winning. They may not have won a Calder Cup yet, I get that, but at the same time, there's a lot of pride in Tucson, and I hope that transfers over to Utah once that happens.
I
Yeah.
love that. You said your daughters love going to the games. Are you a girl dad too?
I am, man.
Dude,
Yep,
we're
I got a
girl
4 and a
dads
2.
too.
Yeah, virtual high five.
Yeah, let's go, dude. Yeah, I knew you were a good guy, Matt. I knew you were a good guy. Hey, but Matt, are you gonna go to game 7 if we go to game 7?
I am. We were supposed to actually go to either game 1 or 2, and that didn't work out schedule wise. But yeah, if there's a game 7, we'll be there.
Well, we're gonna meet up with you because me and Leroy also got tickets to go to that. But Matt, it's been an honor talking to you, man. Thank you for giving the perspective from the Vegas Knights. And what I wanted to do, and like Leroy said, like we're more of like a sports fanatic podcast where we just want to show that like at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of dudes or girls or girl dudes or dude girls. They want to just watch our sport after a stressful day and cheer for our team. But at the end of the day, we're all human. So have
Yeah.
a little empathy. Don't be so mean. We can chirp and we can say, you suck, you this or that. But at the end of the day, we're all friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a community, man. You guys have probably seen that. There right now, there's a lot of trash talk because it's a playoffs, but you know
Of
what?
course.
At the end of the day, we're a big community. I do want to say one thing if I have a little bit of time.
Go for it.
I saw the Zammoth artist, Matt Arnold, I believe. I did some research. I just want to say, as a hockey fan and no, bias towards Vegas or anything, I wish him the best, man. Cancer's really affected my life in the past, so my thoughts and prayers are with him, man. Like, keep rocking on, man, and much love, and I hope everything goes well. So that's all I wanted to say about that, man. Fuck cancer. I will say that. I hate fucking cancer. So I've had it happen in my life. So you know what? And if this message gets to him, much love, man.
Yeah, we agree, Matt. He's a legend. That story was beautiful, man. But thank you, Matt, for being on. I hope we beat your ass, but if we don't, much respect. And please come back on the show whenever you want, Matt. You're more than welcome.
Hey,
Thank
whenever
you
you
for
guys
being a
want,
friend. Yeah.
I'll be a
Yeah.
Tucson correspondent.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
real. We'll have you
perfect.
back, Matt. It's great having you on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I have to say, go
Yeah.
Knights, go though.
Oh.
Get it out. Get it out. All right.
BGK in 7,
Well,
baby.
All right. Hey, well, I'm gonna pick the Mammoths in 7 because I want to meet you in Vegas for that game. So thank you for another
Yeah.
episode
Sounds good.
of Slapshot Utah. We'll see you guys next week.